dancing squad.
Back here with Coach Mangini, we're talking Chiefs and Pats. So in 4 short days, Coach, Patty Mahomes will play in the most important game of his career. Mahomes threw for over 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns this season for the Chiefs. Bill Belichick had some high praise for this offense, said there's not a better, quote, fast starting team than the Chiefs. All right, Coach, how's New England going to slow down Kansas City come this weekend?
Well, when you look at what they did last time, they were trying to double-team Tyreek Hill. But the problem with double-teaming a guy with that type of speed is that even if you have a high-low double, if the defender who's on the high part underestimates how quickly that guy's building, Tyreek can split the two of them. So you could have 2 guys on him and nobody on him.
Coach, what's the weakness to a double team?
Well, the weakness double team is if they're able to, well, speed is the starting point.
Good answer.
Is the starting point.
Yay!
Because I appreciate that. but in trying to deal with players like this in the past, you have to have the communication between the 2 defensive backs, and they need to understand where each one fits. But the safety oftentimes also has a run responsibility, has a fit within the run game, so you can underestimate how quickly he gets on top of them. And last game, New England would switch between man-to-man, where they were doubling him, and then some zone, and that touchdown, the long touchdown that he had late in the game was a cover 3 zone where he just ran an over route across the field and the backside corner didn't get deep enough. So in those moments where you're not concentrating just on him, he can kill you that quickly.
If Patrick Mahomes doesn't turn the ball over, do the Patriots, in your opinion, have a realistic path to victory? If Patrick Mahomes plays a clean game at home, do the Patriots have an obvious path to victory?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Tom Brady not turn the ball over.
Okay.
Ball control. They run against that lousy defense. They gave up 5 yards per carry. So Tom Brady not turn it over. Sony Michel dominate the game. Yes, that's one way.
But that lousy defense wasn't so lousy last week.
Well, so this is a really interesting thing that I could not believe. And the folks at the Action Network tweeted it out, and then I had our guy Dusty fact check it. The Kansas City Chiefs have not allowed 30 points at home in 34 consecutive games. The second longest streak in the NFL is 16. So for however bad the defense is, you have to go back 4 seasons to find the last time someone hung 30 in that building. It's the 9th longest streak since the merger. Now, I can't explain it other than it must be so hard to play offense in that building with that crowd and the different conditions you face in Kansas City, which has temperamental weather.
What was the streak that they broke last week in Kansas City?
There are 25 years with playoff win streak.
Right, and that's all that streaks mean. That's what happened in the past. It has really no bearing on what's going to happen in the future.
I agree with you with those.
Well, if you tell me, put me in a time machine, tell me Kansas City's going to score 30 points, then it's relevant. But everyone else is telling me it's going to be an Arctic blast. The field's going to be cold. Like, I don't see people scoring 30 points if the conditions or if they live up to what people have said they're going to be.
And here's I agree that a lot of those streaks of this team hasn't won a playoff game because it's some of these players, Patty Mahomes wasn't born when that streak started. But when we're 34 consecutive home games without allowing 30 points, 9 of those games were this season with this defense and these players. The 8 previous were last season with a lot of these same players. Streaks like that, I think when it's the same guys, when it just dates back over the last 4 years, have a little more relevance. The reason I asked you about the turnovers was the Patriots defense could not slow down the Chiefs' offense the first time around.
They slowed them down in the red zone. That's not accurate.
One of the reasons they slowed them down was because Pat Mahomes threw a red zone interception.
Well, they slowed them down in the first half.
In the first half, right?
Yes.
Because so in the first half there were 2 Patrick Mahomes turnovers, and then 2 drives that were in the red zone stalled with a field goal. So that's the point that I'm making. Is that
okay? But in the second half, there was a long kickoff return down to the 4-yard line. Tom Brady held the ball against a 3-man rush and fumbled uncharacteristically. There was a broken coverage that Kareem Hunt ran the wheel route that went for 80. So we could say, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. But those are 3 pretty uncharacteristic things against
And depending on which if you have someone in the game, it's Patty Mahomes. If he doesn't turn it over, well, New England forced those turnovers. Those was coverages. On the second turnover, great coverage in the end zone. Knew he could only go one place. They made the play. Dante Hightower made one of the best plays defensively we've seen all season. He got up in the line of scrimmage where he was going to butch the running back. Then the running back went the other way. He switched with the saw the crossing route, got back into coverage, and picked it off. So as much as you would say Patty Mahomes, that New England had a lot to do with that. And this defense, their red zone defense and their ability to create turnovers is the difference in this defense in the last 2 to 3 years in New England's defenses.
Go ahead.
Where I see the biggest issue for New England is how well they're going to be able to keep Mahomes in the pocket. I do believe that his ability to make plays, extend plays, is outstanding. And it hurt him in the red zone on that one play that we talked about, but it helped him a lot of other places and it's helped him throughout the course of the season. So that to me would have to be a starting point for New England. They're going to double team Travis Kelce. They're going to beat him up at the line of scrimmage like they did last game and put 2 guys on him. And then they're going to try to deal with Tyreek, but they've got to do a much better job with their double teams. And I would probably try to get as physical as possible with him at the line of scrimmage so he can't get started. That to me would be where I would go initially.
I want to make one thing real clear. The reason I was asking you about the turnovers is I thought that was going to be maybe your key to the game, is forcing Patrick Mahomes' mistakes. I do not feel about this game the way I felt about the Colts game. The Colts game, I thought the Chiefs were a terrible matchup for the Colts. It was very hard for me, barring something unforeseen happening, to see the Chiefs losing that game. I'm not trying to sit here and act as if the Chiefs should be overwhelming favorites. They have to have a meltdown to lose to the Patriots. That is not how I feel about this football game at all. The Pats are coming off their best game of the year. They have the best ranked defense left in the postseason, and we have seen now for, I don't know, 20 years that Tom Brady is going to play his best football in the playoffs. So I don't look at this game as some mismatch. That's not what I was trying to represent. I assumed, and I guess I assumed incorrectly, your biggest key was going to be forcing Patrick Mahomes into big mistakes, forcing Patrick Mahomes into making throws he doesn't have to, instead of taking the easy throw, trying to make the big throw.
Well, I don't even know if it's a function of forcing him into those mistakes as much as him being able to control his instinct to make a play.
Yeah, like he did last week.
Like he did, yeah. And that to me is going to come down to his ability to say, okay, this isn't here. This risk is not worth it. Because in a lot of ways, the difference in the game was him taking that risk at the end of the first half.
Yep.
And the other thing you talked a lot about is in making Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable, make him go left, right?
Yes.
Force it so that he's going left and has to throw
the guy he's compared the most to, as far as a young player in his second year, is Brett Favre. And that was the game plan when we played Brett Favre. Make him scramble to his left. He's going to throw us the ball because he's going to try to make a play. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that have the athletic ability to be able to flip their hips around because there's so many quadrants of the other side of the field that they can't get to. So you can contain him by forcing him to his left because there's only a few spots that he can throw the ball to. But you know he has that it factor. You know he will try to do what Elway tried to do and try to throw the ball across the field. You know it's in him. You know Brett Favre will do that. So you keep trying to force him to make him make the mistake, and then you try to capitalize on it. That becomes that in the unscheduled, off-schedule plays that Patty Mahomes, what does he do there? Are the negative plays them punting, or the negative plays that he is forced into turning the ball over, giving New England extra possessions? That would lead to a Chiefs being defeated in the AFC Championship game.
And I'm excited to see what Bob Sutton comes up with, because Bob's played against the Patriots for years and years, and what different wrinkle is he going to try to bring to this game to throw them off at least a little bit at some point throughout the course of it?
Coach, you back here tomorrow?
I am.
Awesome. That's great news. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Coming up, are the Lakers digging too big a hole for themselves with LeBron while he sits? That's next on First Things First.
Good to see you, Coach.
Thanks. I'd like a little more sincere enthusiasm.
That was such sincerity.